Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you today? At this time, I would like to tell you about teaching reading for young learner using language experience method. And my name is Fariski Putri Ayu. This is my material. At the first, I would like to read for you about the definition of reading. Reading is the reader's struggle to understand what the text is about. In other words, it is a dialogue between the text and the reader. Language experience is the flexibility and the creativity method, so that why it can be used by all age, and language experience methods have three options in taking the material from the students. The first, students dictate. Teacher writes the ideas on a sheet paper, but then the students copy the ideas into their books. Second, students dictate their ideas and teacher records them in the students' books. And three, the students who are capable write their ideas directly into their books. Besides, a teacher can use everyday materials to start the activity, like pictures from magazines, books, or also can newspapers. In short, this activity are to begin the language experience methods. Almost anything can be needed to launch discussions and to create the reading text. And then there are my references. And the last from me, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, the next is get the gist. Students learn to get the gist by identifying the most important idea, like a person, place, or thing in the paragraph they have read. Here we are focused on teaching students to check for understanding by restating the most important points of the reading in their own words. We can ask them to tell us in their own words the most important idea about a person, place, or something. We can ask them who or what is it about, or what is most important about the who or what, or many others. So we can teach them to provide the gist in as few words as possible while conveying the most meaning. The goal of getting the gist is to teach students to restate in their own words the most important point as a way of making sure they have understood what they have read. So, this strategy can improve student understanding and memory of what they have learned.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Alif Mawadah. Okay, I would like to share about one of the strategy of reading for young learner. The strategy is sorting by sound. Sorting is an important skill for young learners to master. This activity combines sorting items and identifying first sounds in the items' names. It allows students to physically manipulate objects and group them according to their initial sounds. And then next is procedure. Procedure of sorting by sounds. The first one is divide the students into small groups. Each group should have a set of small boxes and a stack of picture cards. The second is instruct the students to divide the cards equally among the members of the group. They should take turns naming aloud the item on one card and placing the card into the correct box until all the cards are in boxes. The last is once all of the picture cards have been sorted by sound, students should empty the boxes one at a time. They should repeat the names of the objects aloud to make sure that all of the pictures were placed correctly. Okay, that's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this occasion, I will explain to you about one of strategies that are used in teaching reading. It is click and clang strategy. According to several experts, click and clang is strategy that is used to build student comprehension when they find difficult word, phrase, or sentence when they are reading. This strategy is not only build student comprehension but also good relationship among student and teacher because it is done together. There are several steps in implementing this strategy. Step number 1, prepare the support tool. Those are cue cards. One that says click and the other that says clang. Step number 2, ask students to read the passage one by one. Students are asked to read one sentence in the paragraph and continue by the next student. Step number 3, after student finish reading a sentence, teacher asks that student to show the cue card. Click card is used when the student understand the meaning. Otherwise, clang card is used when the student don't understand the meaning. If the student use clang card, then the teacher asks other student to explain the meaning. The teacher will explain the meaning if no one knows the meaning. Okay, that's all about click and clang strategy. This is the reference that I use. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nadia Nur Fadila. In this time, I would like to explain the strategies for reading activity, especially for young learners. And for the name of the strategy is Who Can Finish the Story. This strategy has meaning reading out loud in class is challenging for learners, especially for young learners who lack confidence and are shy. Those learners tend to refrain from speaking out loud because of a high level of anxiety. This activity allows learners to practice reading in a fun, game-like manner, which can serve to lower anxiety levels and motivate them to read out loud in class. And here are steps or procedure from this strategy. Number 1. Select a story that is interesting and well within your student reading abilities. Second, divide the story into 6 equal parts. And then number 3, make copies of the story and distribute in class. 4. Read each part out loud as your students follow along. Instruct them to repeat after you as you are reading. Make sure that everyone understands the story. Number 5. Place students in pairs and tell them to write their name and the numbers 1 through 6 next to their name and on a sheet of paper. For example, Emily 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Tom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And number 6. Provide a tie to one of the students in each pair. 7. The student will receive the die, throw it, and read out loud the part of the story that matches the number that he or she wrote. After reading the part, the student circles that number on the sheet next his or her name. And for example, if Emily goes first, rolls 3 with a die, and reads part 3, she circles number 3 next to her name. As illustrated, Emily 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Tom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the last, the students take turns and each student tries to circle all 6 numbers. If they get the same numbers, they have to read the same part of the story again, in which case no new member will be circled. And the one who is able to circle all 6 members next to his or her name is the winner. Okay, I think that's all for this strategy. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Maulida Putri. Today, in this time, I want to explain about one of strategy for a reading activity for young learner named character faces. Being able to describe characters is an important part of story comprehension. Character description involves more than just listing adjectives to describe a character. In this activity, students will use higher order thinking skills as they categorize words and phrases associated with a character from the story. Okay, here are the steps or procedures of having character faces. So first, draw a circle with 4 quadrants on the board. In 3 of the quadrants, write phrases that are in some way related to the main character. In the 4th quadrant, write an unrelated phrase. For example, 3 actions that the main character did and 1 action done by another character. 3 adjectives to describe the main character and 1 adjective that does not describe the character. 3 places that the character visited in the story and 1 place not mentioned. Or 3 names of the character's friend and 1 name of an adult. Second, as a class, ask students to try to identify which of the 4 phrases is different. Cross off the phrase that doesn't belong. 3. As a class, come up with a title for the circle based on what the 3 remaining phrases have in common. And then the last, throw 3 to 4 more circles on the board or give them to students on a worksheet and have them work in pairs to identify and cross off the one phrase that does not belong. Okay, I think that's all about the strategy. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.